she had the ability to kill. Ginger Rogers reveals all in her book. Virginia Catherine McMath, the mother of Ginger Rogers, was born in Independence, Missouri, on July 16, 1911. She was among the most popular and gifted vocalists in American history. Ginger's successful and independent mother, Ila Owens McMath, worked as a newspaper reporter and screenwriter. When she was quite little, she introduced her to the performing arts. Her early years were split between Kansas City and Fort Worth, Texas. She enjoyed dancing, music, and learning about the stage. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to the topic. What we were talking about was Layla's unwavering confidence in Ginger's skills laid the groundwork for an incredible career spanning over half a century. In the 1920s, Ginger began her career in theater as a simple act but soon gained recognition as a captivating and talented performer. She won a Charleston dance competition and got her start in vaudeville. She began to hone the witty banter, impeccable timing, and fluid dancing style that would later become her signature there. Her early career in theatrical musicals brought her to Broadway, where she rose to fame in the popular production Girl Crazy, 1930, which featured George Gershwin's music and an unidentified Ethel Merman. Soon, the film industry called. When Ginger Rogers was coupled with the elegant and attractive Fred Astaire, her film career took off. Flying Down to Rio, 1933, their debut feature film together, was so successful that it gave rise to one of the most well-known dance combinations in film history. Over the following decade, 10 films were produced using them. Among them are Shall We Dance, 1937, Swing Time, 1936, and Top Hat, 1935. These films were more than just shows. They were stunning, extremely challenging performances that revolutionized the storytelling of songs and the choreography of movies. Astaire and Rogers shared a strong chemistry. He choreographed the dance, and she followed along step by step, notably performing it in high heels and backwards, a move that has come to be known as grace under pressure. However, Ginger Rogers was much more than simply one half of a well-known dancing duo. She wanted to establish herself as a serious actress in her own right, so she worked her way up to more dramatic roles. Her performance in Kitty Foyle, 1940, earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, which was a significant turning point that demonstrated her abilities beyond dance. Both audiences and critics praised her portrayal of a working-class lady who was conflicted between independence and love. She did it with integrity, fortitude, and heart. Ginger continued to display a broad range of acting abilities throughout the 1940s and 1950s by starring in dramas that addressed social concerns, romantic comedies, and thrillers. Her performances in films such as Primrose Path, 1940, The Major and the Minor, 1942, and Tender Comrade, 1943, demonstrated her ability to blend humor and gravity. She wasn't merely lucky with her casting, as seen by her collaborations with leading men and renowned filmmakers of the era. She was a main lady in every aspect. Off-screen, Rogers was seen as intelligent, self-reliant, and profoundly spiritual. She was also a morally upright person. She lived her life in accordance with her beliefs and took her faith extremely seriously, even though she worked in a field that isn't known for being constant. She had strong political convictions and didn't hesitate to voice them, even if doing so offended some people. She was admired by her peers for her professionalism and hard work. She also never had children despite being married 5 times. Rather, she concentrated on her career and her hobbies. In subsequent years, she returned to the stage to demonstrate that her star power remained. Hi, Dolly went on tour as the lead with her. And Mame, demonstrating to younger audiences why she had enjoyed such long-term success in films. Ginger, My Story, 1991, her autobiography, was also candid about her life, career, and the heyday of Hollywood. One of Hollywood's most well-known and adored actors was Ginger Rogers. She had 5 marriages that ended in divorce, making her personal life hectic and complex. Despite having numerous marriages and partnerships over the years, Rogers never had children. She paid close attention to her work in theater, radio, vaudeville, and, most significantly, film. Her romantic life frequently piqued people's interest, and each engagement represented a distinct phase of her development both personally and professionally. When she was very young, she was married for the first time. Just a few days before turning 18, on March 29, 1929, she married fellow dancer and vaudeville star Jack Pepper. His name was Jackson County. Add some pepper. The two had starred together in the television program Ginger and Pepper. They began dating while they were young and were married shortly after. But as it happened, the union would not endure. Soon after the wedding, they split up, and the marriage ended in 1931. Rogers married early while he was impetuous and young. He learned a lot from this about how difficult relationships and romantic relationships can be in the entertainment industry. Despite their brief marriage, it established a precedent for the actress's subsequent partnerships. Many of the men she would eventually date would work in entertainment or show industry. Rogers began dating film director Vin Loy shortly after her divorce from Pepper in 1932. Leroy, who had directed several successful films, was already a rising star in Hollywood. He had a brief relationship with Rogers. Despite their short-lived relationship, it was respectful and profound. After deciding to break up, Rogers and Leroy maintained a strong friendship for over 50 years. Throughout their lengthy association, Rogers frequently expressed her love for Leroy. Until his death in 1987, he was one of her closest friends. In 1934, she married renowned actor Lew Ayres for the second time. Ayres played the major role in the Western Front film All Quiet in 1930. Ayres and Rogers were regarded as one of the most attractive young couples in Hollywood. However, the marriage also had its issues. Their occupations kept them both quite occupied. Their relationship suffered as a result of the pressures of fame, hard hours, and public scrutiny. After 6 years of marriage, during which time they frequently lived apart due to job obligations, Rogers and Ayres divorced in 1940. It concluded in 1940, a significant year for Rogers' career as she was about to win an Oscar for her performance in Kitty Foyle, 1940, solidifying her position as one of the industry's biggest performers. She married for the third time during the height of World War II. In 1943, Rogers wed Jack Briggs. A stunning young U.S. Marine, Briggs had recently returned from active deployment. At the time, their union was regarded as a sign of passionate devotion, and Rogers's marriage was first viewed as a stabilizing influence in his life. However, they began to diverge once the war ended and they both returned to their regular lives. Despite her devotion, Briggs was reportedly unable to handle Rogers' demanding and frequently chaotic life as a well-known Hollywood celebrity. After 7 years of dating, they got divorced in 1950. Despite their peaceful divorce, Rogers's issues worsened as she attempted to juggle her demanding professional and personal responsibilities. Ginger Rogers married Jacques Bercerac in 1953. He was 16 years her junior and a dashing French lawyer who later became an actor. One of the most talked about marriages in her life would be this one. Despite having diverse backgrounds and ages, Rogers and Bercerac fell in love right away when they met in Paris. Bercerac was studying law in France at the time, but he moved to the U.S. to pursue an acting career after being enticed by Rogers and Hollywood. The media paid close attention to their marriage because of the age gap and Bercerac's distinct European appeal. Despite their brief first infatuation, cultural divides, conflicting professional aspirations, and personal issues led to their 1957 divorce. Later in life, Bercerac maintained good contacts with Rogers and enjoyed a rather successful acting career. Her sixth and final husband was producer and director William Marshall. When Rogers married his wife in 1961, he was beginning to shift his focus from film roles to stage shows and sporadic TV appearances. The two wanted to collaborate on projects together, both financially and creatively, and Marshall was a motivated producer. Together, they founded a film production firm and even relocated to Jamaica in order to establish an international studio. However, Marshall's drinking issues and poor money management soon caused tension in the marriage. Their relationship deteriorated as a result of his addiction's psychological effects and the collapse of their company. After nearly a decade of marriage, Rogers and Marshall divorced in 1970. It was terrible to end what had appeared to be a happy marriage. In contrast, Rogers remained strong and resilient following the incident. She returned to work stronger and more focused. Despite the ups and downs in her romantic life, Ginger Rogers remained a strong, independent woman throughout her life. She never remarried after her divorce from Marshall. Her final years were instead devoted to writing, performing, and celebrating her status as one of Hollywood's most cherished and gifted Golden Age actors. She had a deep affection for her family, particularly her mother, Ila Owens, who served as her manager, mentor, and inspiration at work. She never had her own children. In her candid and illuminating autobiography, Ginger Rogers was candid about some of the most difficult relationships she had, particularly those with fellow Hollywood actress Catherine Hepburn. Many people recall Rogers because of her stunning appearance and poise on film. She revealed a far more complex and sinister reality by removing the layers. She vividly compared Hepburn to a poisonous snake to convey how severely she felt deceived, wounded, and poisoned by their interactions. This person's description was not made hastily or in a fit of rage. It served to highlight how awful Hepburn's actions had been to her over the years. Rogers describes numerous occasions in his book when he felt disregarded or ashamed by Hepburn. This demonstrates how cutthroat and occasionally vicious Hollywood was during its prime. Actresses in that era frequently vied with one another for roles, public acclaim, and industry prestige. An excellent illustration of this was the rivalry between the two women. Because of Hepburn's icy demeanor, scathing remarks, and unflinching self-confidence, Rogers believed that she was nasty and mean. Their encounters were strained and frigid, contrary to what many would have assumed to be a cordial friendship. The darker side of friendships and rivalries in Hollywood is illuminated by Rogers' candid remarks, which demonstrate how jealousy and rage can destroy interpersonal connections at their core. Additionally, the memoir of Ginger Rogers demonstrates the complexity of Catherine Hepburn's personality. She was incredibly self-reliant and never felt the need to apologize for being herself, even if it caused pain to others. Rogers's description of Hepburn shows that her strong power and intransigence, while laudable in many respects, could also show up as a piercing, cutting presence that hurt others who were around her. The toxic snake is a metaphor for the evil that hides beneath beauty and charm. It serves as a warning about Hepburn's minor but significant influence on her contemporaries. Rogers' remarks about Hepburn weren't all negative. Rather, she presented a balanced perspective that acknowledged Hepburn's brilliance while also highlighting her cruelty against others. This statement aligns with a broader theme in Rogers's memoir. She courageously confronts Hepburn as well as the numerous challenges she encountered as a woman in a highly competitive industry. Her candor demonstrates how emotionally taxing it is for her to maintain a flawless public face while juggling personal rivalry and professional issues. Rogers used Hepburn as a metaphor for the numerous hidden challenges that Hollywood women faced, such as the perilous battles for survival, dominance, and power that were as cunning as deadly snakes. Ultimately, Ginger Rogers' memoirs demonstrates her strength and fortitude. Rogers regained control of her story by being honest about everything, including the worst things she had said about Hepburn. This gave the lives of well-known movie stars, who are frequently reduced to myths, a more relatable touch. People are urged to see past the celebrities' glamorous personas and learn about the true emotions, issues, and struggles that influence their life off-screen. Through the eyes of one of Hollywood's biggest stars, the remark, "She was a poisonous snake," will always be regarded as a powerful, candid look into the brutal realities of the industry's golden period. A well-known dancer and actress, Ginger Rogers was well known throughout the world for her captivating performances with Fred Astaire. She led a comfortable life that allowed her to travel throughout the nation. She made the decision to spend the winter in Rancho Mirage, California, a posh desert town renowned for its tranquil ambience and mild winters. For many years. In Rancho Mirage, Rogers could escape the harsher climes, enjoy the sun, participate in the arts community, and maintain some solitude away from the bustling towns. The neighborhood was well liked by celebrities and the elderly. Rogers was able to live a calm life in her senior years and felt as though she was a part of a community with other well-known individuals. In the warmer months, Ginger Rogers would relocate to Medford, Oregon. Her choice of residence demonstrated how much she valued the tranquility and splendor of the Pacific Northwest. Medford, with its lush landscapes, steep topography, and pleasant summers, was a far cry from Rancho Mirage's scorching environment. Rogers spent the summers in Medford, where she could get back to nature and maybe enjoy a slower pace of life while being close to nature. This periodic migration demonstrated her preference for a variety of residences and her desire to strike a balance between sophistication and serenity. On April 25, 1995, Ginger Rogers passed away quietly at her Rancho Mirage home. Her age was 83. She died of a heart attack, bringing an end to a lengthy and significant life. Rogers' career was groundbreaking in Hollywood, and she had a captivating on-screen persona and a stunning dancing style. She passed away at the age of 83. Her passing caused sadness among her admirers and colleagues worldwide. Many of them recalled her not only for her job, but also for how nice and powerful she was. It's possible that Ginger Rogers' family or she herself chose to have her burned after she passed away. Her ashes and those of her mother, Ila Owens, were interred in Chatsworth, California's Oakwood Memorial Park Cemetery. This cemetery is located in the San Fernando Valley region of Los Angeles and is the final resting place of numerous well-known figures from the entertainment industry. Rogers was very close to her family throughout her life, as seen by her decision to bury her ashes with her mother. Despite all of her success and renown over the years, it also demonstrates her return to her roots and the value of family. To put it briefly, Ginger Rogers' final years were characterized by a careful balancing act between leading an opulent lifestyle and finding solitude. She passed away comfortably and in the company of nature. Her burial close to her mother demonstrates how significant those relationships were to her during a life in the spotlight, and her passing signaled the end of an incredible period in American cinema.